Hey, welcome. We all know English is a big deal, right? But have you ever stopped to really think about how that happened? How did a language from this tiny little island become the most powerful language on the entire planet? Well, today, we're going to break down that incredible story.
Right, so how did we get here? This story, it's not just about grammar and vocabulary. Oh no, it's this fascinating journey through history, through power, and yeah, globalization. And honestly, it explains a ton about the world we're all living in right now.
To really get why English is so dominant today, we've got to rewind the clock. We're going to go way, way back, about 1,500 years ago. Back then, English was, well, it was just one of many local languages. Nothing special at all, and certainly not an important one.
Seriously, if you were a betting person back then, you would never have put your money on English. I mean, the languages of power were Latin, Greek, Chinese, English. It was seen as kind of simple, pretty unimportant, just spoken by a few folks on an island. It was a total long shot. So what happened? What was that first big spark that changed everything?
This is what we call the first wave. It all starts around the 1600s, when Britain builds this ridiculously powerful navy, one of the strongest in history. And with that navy, the British Empire just explodes across the globe. We're talking North America, India, Australia, and wherever they went, they brought their language with them. It became the language of government, of education, and it often stuck around even after those countries became independent.
But here's the thing. Even with that massive empire, it still wasn't enough to make English the truly global force it is today. Nope. For that, we need to jump to the next crucial chapter of the story. And it all kicks off with a massive, world-changing conflict. After World War II, the world's power map just gets completely redrawn. The old European empires, they were in ruins. Their cities were destroyed, their economies were just broken. But one country came out of it stronger than ever before, the United States. So as America started to take the lead in, well, pretty much everything, from politics to science, its language came along for the ride. Think of it as the ultimate co-pilot. This was the second wave, and let me tell you, it was way more powerful than the first. This is what really cemented English's global status. But how did this happen so completely? You know, it wasn't just one thing. It was this combination of several really powerful forces or pillars all working together. They built this super strong foundation for English that's, well, still standing today. So, let's actually break down these 5 pillars one by one to see exactly how they made English pretty much essential in our modern world. All right, pillar number 1, money. It's a big one. After the war, the US dollar basically became the world's currency. You want to buy oil? You're using dollars. A big international investment, probably in dollars. So, with the American financial system at the center of everything, English just naturally became the default language of business. If you wanted to make money, you needed to speak English. Next up, culture. And this is huge. For most of the 20th century, America was the world's pop culture king. Hollywood movies, American pop music, TV shows, they were everywhere. It was like this massive cultural export, beaming the English language directly into people's living rooms all over the planet. People started learning English without even trying, just so they could understand their favorite songs or watch the latest blockbuster.
And then, technology happened. The internet. Guess where that was mostly invented and built? Yep, the United States. And think about the giants of tech. Google, Microsoft, Apple, all American. The programming languages that built our digital world, all written in English. So it's no surprise that English became the default language of the internet, a position it still holds. And finally, you've got science and knowledge. The world's top universities, they teach in English. The most important, groundbreaking scientific research, it gets published in English. And at the same time, global organizations like the United Nations use English as a primary working language. The bottom line is, if you want to be part of global progress, you simply have to speak the language.
So all of this brings us to a really big question, right? The world is changing super fast. New powers are rising. So is English going to stay on top forever?
Well, if you look at the numbers, it's pretty wild. English isn't just holding on, it's growing. Right now, 1.5 billion people are learning it. That's almost 20% of the entire world's population. The demand is going up every single year because people all over the globe see it as an absolutely crucial life skill.
Okay, but what about a challenger? I mean, look at Mandarin. It has way more native speakers, but it's also incredibly difficult for outsiders to learn. So for now, its global use is still kind of limited.
And Spanish, super influential for sure, but its power is more regional. When it comes to a language for everybody to use globally, English is still the most practical choice.
And you might be thinking, what about AI? What about translation apps? And yeah, those tools are getting crazy good, but they're probably not going to replace the need for a common language, especially not for the big stuff. High-stakes business deals, complex scientific collaboration, diplomacy. You still need that direct, nuanced human communication. It's just key.
Okay, so we've looked at the past, we've peeked into the future, but let's bring this all back home. On a personal level, why should any of this matter to you?
Because the reality today is that knowing English is so much more than just a communication skill. It's like a key that unlocks doors to opportunity, to power, and to a kind of freedom that's essential in our interconnected world.
What kind of doors am I talking about? Well, 3 big ones. First, it can unlock better jobs, giving you access to companies all over the globe. Second, it gives you the freedom to travel the world fearlessly and communicate wherever you go. And third, it gives you direct access to the world's knowledge, the best books, the top universities, the most important research.
So there's no doubt it's a life-changing skill. But let's end with a bigger question to chew on. As our world gets more and more connected, what does it really mean, both the good and the bad, when we rely so heavily on just one language to bridge all of our incredibly diverse cultures?